Today, I would like to discuss with you the one thing that cuts through all the BS when it comes to having in your possession the money that you desire, whether it be $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, $1,000,000 plus. The one thing that cuts through the BS. Now, as always, these discussions on this channel here are built on the foundation of my own results. So I do not include on this channel any conjecture. This is built on the results of, in my life, doing what I love to do. And I took my information and wrote a book on it. It's called The Direct Path to $1 Million. Turn what you already have into a fortune. If you're interested in that, I'll link in the description to the link on Amazon where you can get a copy of this book. Now, consider this for a moment. As we've been discussing in our recent videos on this channel, the fact that you exist is enough. Existence is enough. Presence is enough. Being is enough. You already have everything. You already have it to access the tens of thousands of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars, $1 million plus, whatever you'd like, by just being the way you are. Now, what is this one thing that cuts through the BS? It's actually based on a book that cuts through the BS. So that's on my mind map here, which if you're interested in a copy of this mind map, I'll put a link in the description to it. I put the node title, The Book That Cuts Through the BS. Now, the interesting thing about this particular book here is I read it in 2012. I started an IT business, which I built a success from 2009 to 13, and then transitioned into consulting and my YouTube channel. So when I came across this book, I was already well into building my IT business to success. And what was interesting was what was discussed in this book was articulated so precisely that it was essentially what I was doing, yet it also refined what I was doing. So it's articulated perfectly. It's called The One Thing by Gary Keller. The One Thing by Gary Keller. And I want to explore with you today one aspect from this book that is going to facilitate cutting through the BS. And by that it is meant very specifically. There is a lot of information available today, more so than ever before on the internet, easier, faster. You can go onto YouTube and do a quick search. You'll get access to the answers for any question. Now, is that information based on conjecture or does it actually work? That requires some discernment. The same with ChatGPT. If you query in ChatGPT, the same if you search on Google, the same if you hire a coach or consultant. It's up to you to discern. And that's what I also help with on this channel, that you are already that which you desire to be. You already have what you desire. And you just naturally, it just naturally results in you having the $1,000, $10,000, $100,000, millions of dollars. If you acknowledge that your way is the best way and the natural way of life is flow. So, I have a group coaching and mastermind service. If you're interested in that, I'll link in the description to it. It's called Flow-Based Prosperity. Now, the premise of this service is as follows. Number one, to enjoy generating an increasingly lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. Number two, enjoying a wonderful lifestyle, whatever you consider a wonderful lifestyle along the way. You know, I've traveled, I've had wonderful friendships, I've had wonderful life experiences since 2009. I've lived in Austria, I've lived in California. From 2013 up until end of 2018, I was traveling, staying out of Airbnbs, and I was having a lot of fun. So you can not only have a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. You could also, by manifesting your style, do what you love to do in exchange for a lavish, steady, dependable income consistent with integrity and mutual benefit. You can also, at the same time, enjoy a wonderful lifestyle. Why does it need to be one way versus another? And I speak from experience on this. And then number 3, invest toward long-term wealth and a harmonious future. All 3 of these. I'll link in the description to a playlist of the videos we've created thus far on this channel, which gets into the nuances. And also, I created a spreadsheet and a video discussing the spreadsheet and provided all kinds of tools for the entrepreneur. I'll link in the description to that spreadsheet with respect to investing toward long-term wealth and a harmonious future. So all 3 of these in a flow-based way. Now, the way, along the way, so you set a vision. So you have a vision. Desire is a vision. You have a desire to have whatever, $10,000, $100,000, $1 million. You have a vision. And as you know that you are already that, you're on the way. So the way is essentially what appears. Step by step by step. Sometimes things you might know, things you might not know happen. We'll talk about that in a moment. And you inevitably actualize whatever, the $10,000, $100,000, $1 million. So what happens along the way? What happens along the way is captured at a high level in this model here, which is a modified version of the Robert Dilts logical levels. I modified it by putting an I on the top. There you are, the pure awareness existing as consciousness bliss. Sat Chit Ananda. Existence, consciousness, bliss. And as you are bliss, as you exist as bliss, you can experience a fun, joyous, flow-based, effortless journey, or the way is fun, joyous, flow-based. So the way of life is flow, and you can experience joy on the journey to actualizing whatever, $1,000, $10,000, $1 million plus. All of these things appear to transform the personal identity, values and beliefs, capabilities, behaviors, and environment without resistance. If there's any resistance, you can release identification to that resistance. I'll put a link in the description to my subconscious mind program to release that resistance so you can actualize your prosperity in a fun, joyous, flow-based way rather than a stress, force-based way. And what happens is intuitive insights emerge along the way. You may even consider information that is being shared with you. Certainly, I have included in my 5 programs various information based, again, on the foundation of building 3 successful businesses, not conjecture. 5 programs, and they're quite in-depth. So, for example, in the capabilities level of the Robert Dilts logical levels, that refers to skill cultivation. So entrepreneurs may cultivate the skill of direct response marketing, copywriting, consultative selling. I talk about this in my entrepreneurial program, and I teach that. Now, they may do these things, or they may outsource one of these things, or some of these things, or a combination of these things, or parts of these things. They may delegate it, they may optimize, they may not do some of those things, or we could say eliminate, and somebody else can do some of those things. Yet those things are not neglected. It's not like they're forcing themselves to not do the work. This is not spiritual bypassing. The natural result of being as you are, existence, consciousness, bliss, is all these things naturally happening. Natural skill cultivation, natural behavioral transformation, natural environment transformation. And even if those things are not the things, like, for example, direct response marketing, consultative selling, copywriting, or let's take one of those. Let's say you are not a fan of tracking and analyzing for direct response marketing. You just naturally find that there is someone that genuinely loves to do that you delegate that to. They naturally show up in flow. So it doesn't mean you have to do that thing. You genuinely love to do the fulfillment or innovation or whatever else. They genuinely love to track and analyze and look at the spreadsheets, etc. So you may have some known ways that are shared on the internet that have been proven in equation, not based on conjecture. And again, I recommend a copy of my book, The Direct Path of $1 Million, Turn What You Already Have into a Fortune. As this book here, I made sure that there was nothing in this book, absolutely nothing in this book that was based on conjecture. This is all based on experience, and not just my experience. I've worked with thousands of businesses over the years in consulting. Now, there are known ways, and there are unknown ways we don't know of yet. Yet, when they happen, we may connect the dots looking backwards and say, oh yeah, that's a way of doing it. So this is about a reconciliation between divergent thinking and convergent thinking, which happens naturally while you're in flow, which we'll talk about in a moment. Divergent is many different perspectives, infinity different perspectives, but not being confused by them. You're not confused by them while in flow. While in flow, it's clarity and everything flows naturally to you. You know when to optimize, you know when to automate, you know when to delegate, you know when to eliminate in part or in whole or in combination. You know what skills to cultivate, which to delegate, etc. Behaviors, environments naturally transform. Personal identity transforms. Values and beliefs transforms. These are the layers in the Robert Dilts logical levels to reflect you being perfect as you are, and it's experienced in the body as flow. So you may access known ways and unknown ways. These may show up in the searches, yet while in flow, the individual is not confused by information, which is why I put together the service, Flow-Based Prosperity, as those that are members of the service actualize their prosperity in a fun, joyous, flow-based way, rather than a stress, force-based, confusion way. There is no confusion while you're in flow. There's no such thing as confusion while in flow. So, the book is called, again, The One Thing by Gary Keller. And this is very clarifying for those that in the earlier stages don't have the habit form of committing to what is the high leverage, fun, joyous, flow-based thing that they naturally do effortlessly so that they can automate, optimize, delegate, eliminate, whatever else that only seems to stand in their way, from doing the thing that they love to do. In this particular book, he has something called goal setting to the now. Now, this is very helpful for individuals that find that in mind that there is confusion about what to do, what not to do, and based on all the volume of information that is available, they experience things like fear of missing out, or if information is presented in a particular way, they think they need to do those things, they should do those things, they must do those things in order to get results, even though intuitively they know the thing to do. And it could be a known way, it could be an unknown way. It could be a divergent way, it could be a convergent way. So convergent is well-established ways, things that have been proven in equation. So for example, if you study direct response marketing, consultative selling, and copywriting, you'll come across some information that has proven itself to work at a higher success probability than information that, although it sounds nice, yet it does not work to that degree of success probability. And so it may be confusing for the individual. That is why I recommend having a group of advisors, mentors, mastermind partners, coaches, consultants, people around that have acquired the results you're looking for and thus can teach based on experience and can, as a result of having the experiences, as in they have the results, they can also look at what steps you've taken and help you optimize. They can provide optimization points based on results and experience and not conjecture. They can advise if it is time to optimize, automate, delegate, or eliminate part or in whole or in combination. They can also advise as to how to go about doing these things. That way you are in a supportive environment. So goal setting to the now gets the ball rolling, brings you in flow, cuts out the BS, and so then you can discern clearly. And you don't need to do any special technique or this or that, which again could be conjecture. You could just follow the steps outlined in this section here of the book, The One Thing by Gary Keller, and it does the same thing that I have seen thousands and thousands of successful entrepreneurs do to manifest the $10,000, $100,000, $1 million. And as mentioned, this is not about avoiding doing the work or spiritual bypassing. This is actually living the spiritual truth. And it is also naturally resulting in the work being done. It feels that way while you're in flow. You don't feel like you're doing anything, yet everything is happening. And then there's no confusion. You naturally flow. Like, for example, I personally love consultative sales or client acquisition, so much so that I dedicated much of this book on that particular area. For me, it's a lot of fun. When I have conversations with people, which are exploratory conversations, which naturally results in sales or client acquisition, it's not stress-based. It's not force-based. I'm not forcing myself to do these things. It feels like, as articulated in the Bible, I can of myself do nothing. The Father would then do it the work. That is what the experience of flow or autotelic being is like. You do what you love to do, and my vendors, my team members, they do what they love to do. So goal setting to the now. What this does is it facilitates focus in a flow-based way so that you can naturally do the thing that is fun, joyous, flow-based, high leverage, and everything else is taken care of. Ideas emerge along the way. People show up along the way. Resources show up along the way to contribute to everything else being automated, optimized, delegated, or eliminated in part or in whole or in combination. So these are questions that we ask to bring us into a flow-based focus, not stress, not force-based. I just run through a series of questions like this, and then the natural result is the way. All these things appearing to transform, the natural way. So this is not spiritual bypassing. This is not avoiding doing the work. It is naturally you do the thing that you love to do, and everything else gets taken care of for you. There are people that show up that do the things that they love to do, and you do the thing that you love to do. It is a wonderful, harmonious relationship. It is harmonious relationships that are supportive show up, like in a wonderful mastermind, like in a wonderful community, like in a wonderful business. So, number one, what is the one thing I want to do someday? So, let's say you are a real estate agent. You would like to have in your possession $1 million net so you can invest in your own investment properties. Number two, based on my someday goal, what is the one thing I can do in the next 5 years? You can say, all right, well, I'm very good at acquiring clients through prospecting by going to events. And that is what I love to do. I'm natural at it. It happens spontaneously. People want to work with me. They refer people to me effortlessly. All these other things that I do, like running ads and social media, seems so stress and force-based. Let's put that aside because I know that when I prospect at events, I achieve my numbers. And these could be large events, small events, etc. When you're out and about, you meet people, you acquire clients, you acquire referrals. Effortless, fun, joyous. Doesn't feel like you're forcing yourself to do it. You just naturally love to do it. Number three, based on my 5-year goal, what is the one thing I can do in the next year? Well, you can say, well, 5 days a week, I'm going to attend an event in the evening. It could be a major event where there's a lot of people, or it could be a meetup group or a community event. I'm going to go there and hang out 5 days a week in the evenings. I love to do it anyways. This is what I love to do. Number four, based on my 1-year goal, what is the one thing I can do this month? You can say, well, let's go and line up these meetings. In my calendar, I'll go and find all these meetings and line them up for the months ahead. And maybe I don't do it for the entire year, yet I'll do it for this month. And then I trust that in the next month, in the months that follow, more events will emerge. Number five, based on my monthly goal, what is the one thing I can do this week? Well, I commit to going to 5 events this week. It's Monday. I will go to an event Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. Number six, based on my weekly goal, what is the one thing I can do today? Oh, I can go to an event today. Number seven, based on my daily goal, what is the one thing I can do right now? Well, let's find an event to go to. Whatever event feels fun, joyous, flow-based, and attend the event tonight. That's it. What I find is this is so simple and so effective, it just cuts through all kinds of BS. You don't need to do X, Y, Z, all these things unnecessarily prior to doing the thing you're going to do anyways, which is the thing that you love to do. Why do you have to add all these things in the middle in order to do that thing that you're going to naturally end up doing anyways? By running through a very simple series of questions like this, you have your clarity. And that's it. Everything else gets naturally taken care of, effortlessly. This is all I did over the years. I just focused on doing what I love to do. Right now, this is the thing that I love to do. Have this conversation with you. After this, I'll do the next thing and the next thing and so forth. And I'm not avoiding doing it. It's what I genuinely love to do. And everyone else who's involved with everything that I'm involved with genuinely loves to do those things. I focus on what is known now, and the unknown ways have space to emerge. And they can emerge in all kinds of things. All of a sudden, let's say if we use this example, along the way, you meet someone that is masterful at running Facebook ads or Instagram ads at one of these events. So let's say you tried running Facebook ads and it didn't work, or Instagram ads and it didn't work, and it felt stress and force-based. You're going and searching all kinds of information, and that feels stress and force-based because you think that you need to do those things in order to get the clients. Meanwhile, you know that your way is the best way. Prospecting at events is the best way for you. Now, all of a sudden, you meet someone who loves to do it. And so you work with them, and they're generating leads for you from Facebook, and you don't worry about that. They take care of it for you. How wonderful is that? These are the kinds of things that I have seen happen. This is how I found vendors. This is how I found clients. This is how I found business partners, opportunities, etc. The ideas naturally emerge along the way. And literally, when I started my other YouTube channel, which has over 400,000 subscribers right now, it was a spontaneous, I feel like putting together a video on how I got rid of everything and just fit stuff in a backpack back in 2013 after transitioning from my IT business and bought a one-way ticket to Europe for the next phase of entrepreneurship. Inspiration to make that video, and that video just naturally, the inspiration just naturally showed up, and I made the video and it started that channel back in 2013, which then turned into a whole successful business. So while in flow, doing the thing that you love to do, you naturally get the results. It's also the one thing. It cuts through all the BS. There's no confusion in mind. There's no contradiction in mind. You naturally flow and everything else is taken care of for you. Like we discussed in our recent videos, you simply exist as you are. The natural result of being who you are is flow. Because you're not forcing yourself to do something you don't want to do. You're allowing yourself to do the thing that you love to do, which just so happens to be the fun, joyous, flow-based, high-leverage thing. And along the way, all these things transform. The personal identity, the values, beliefs, the capabilities cultivate. You refine your prospecting abilities, your consultative sales abilities in flow. That's where I got the insights to write this book here, based on personal experience. Everything I put in this book, as mentioned, based on personal experience. And these aren't the kind of things that I see talked about in other books. So what happens is your way ends up being a way that you share with people and they find it helpful. And if you wanted to, at a particular point, get into coaching and consulting based on the foundation of your success and your experience, because you feel that that's the next natural thing to do, then that which you do now in the moment may change. Yet along the way, you discover all these interesting nuance points with respect to environment, behavior, capabilities, and you share it with individuals, like I'm doing in this video right here. Now, all I did was stay in flow. As you may know, in 2017, I made flow a priority. Prior to that, it was sometimes in flow, sometimes not in flow, which is why right now I teach this, is I discovered that, you know what, flow is the way. And after being in flow since 2017, making flow a priority, which again, that could sound like a force-based thing to do, make flow a priority. It simply means be as you are, do what you love to do, which you naturally love to do, which I learned from Steve Jobs when I was building my IT business. I would listen to the commencement speech over and over again. He said, follow your heart and intuition, everything else is secondary. So as I go about my initiatives, what I like to consider is what I learned from the book Flow by Mihai Csikszentmihalyi. Whatever that initiative may be, the one thing. Number one, clear vision. So we already know what the vision is. It's the someday goal, $1 million net invested or $100,000 in your bank account. Clear vision, granular level goals. What's the granular level goal? The one thing. Number two, as I'm performing the initiative, immediate reporting and feedback. So as I'm prospecting, as I'm having conversations with people, not in a force-based way, I'm not trying to sell them. You know, when you're natural and you go about things in an effortless, fun, joyous way, you don't try to strong-arm people, force them, or convince them. You have conversations because you genuinely love what you do. You genuinely love to share what you're interested in. And the natural fragrance of that is what we talk about on my other channel, personal magnetism, charisma, etc., confidence. And people love to work with you because you have their best interests at heart, and you naturally attract those that are wonderful clients. So immediate reporting and feedback, optimization data may be provided prior to the interactions, during the interactions, after the interactions. While in flow, as you're performing the initiative, there's immediate reporting and feedback of what can be optimized along the way and you love to do it, so you optimize along the way. And then there is a harmony between challenge and skill. So while in flow, you don't run away from the challenge. As mentioned, this is not spiritual bypassing or avoiding doing the thing that you love to do or avoiding doing the work. You genuinely love to do it. Now you allow yourself to do the thing you love to do, and you embrace whatever perceived challenge appears. And that is a point to relax into the flow. And skill is cultivated along the way. How wonderful is that? Then you experience flow. The natural result of flow, or the experience of flow, can be described in the next few points. Action and awareness are one. So there's no confusion. Should I do this? Should I not do that? What about action? What about not action? Everything happens naturally in flow. There is no confusion or contradiction in mind. You already know what you love to do. You went through a simple series of questions, and you just do the thing that you love to do, and the natural result of it is actions and awareness are one. Distractions are excluded, so there's no confusion and BS and so forth. Fear and doubt and indecision is non-existent while you're in flow. You may even experience time distortion. Time may go really fast or really slow or a variation of the two. You don't worry about time while in flow. You don't worry about how long it takes. You don't worry about if it's happening fast or slow. None of those concerns are there while in flow. And as you continue to live this way, you become what Mihaly Csikszentmihalyi calls in the book autotelic being, which I call establishing yourself in reality, being as you are, or as I say, being as I am, remaining as I am. So I got asked a question, part of the inspiration of this video. Someone had asked a question about how do you remain as I am? How do you establish yourself in your desired reality, or in reality, which happens to be the desired reality? Well, this is a wonderful way. Just doing what you love to do. Everything else gets taken care of. You remain in flow, and emotions regulate. Naturally, you don't identify with limitations. There's no thoughts of limitation while in flow. Neurological changes happen. Anandamide is released, which is a neurotransmitter. Actually, a whole bunch of neurotransmitters are released while in flow. Body transforms, emotions regulate. Your neurology can change to be flow-based. I recommend reading a wonderful book called The Brain That Changes Itself by Dr. Norman Deutsch. He speaks about neuroplasticity. All these things happen natural, and you appear as an autotelic being, or established in your desired reality. So again, going back to the beginning, there you are, existing as consciousness bliss. And so money shows up to you, appears to you in a fun, joyous, flow-based way. That is the way. All these things appear to transform. These layers in the Robert Dilts logical levels, the environment, behavior, capabilities, values, and beliefs, identity, reflect the vision, whatever the vision may be, the someday goal. And it happens fun, joyous, naturally, in flow, and you just do the thing that you love to do. What's so hard about that? What is so hard about doing the thing that you love to do? If there's resistance to doing the thing that you love to do, then no shame, no condemnation. I recommend my subconscious mind program to dissolve that resistance. So I trust you found this video to be helpful. If you would like a copy of this mind map, the link is in the description. Thank you very much for watching. I'll talk with you soon. Take care.